how to transpose guitar chords using a capo. And this is a very tough question and confuses a lot of adult beginners into playing songs, but I'm going to share with you a simple way, or not so much a simple way, I should say a way that you need to know so you can do this easily. And it's just a couple of things we need to know, and I'm going to lay it all out for you. All right, let's get into it. In this episode of how to transpose guitar chords using a capo, I'm going to show you what you need to know, and it's our musical alphabet, and we don't have to learn everything about it, but where what we call the root notes of the chords are found on the guitar. And once you know that, moving the capo along to a different key is going to be so much easier for you. And of course, I'm not going to leave you out in the lurch and just give you information. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of how to put all that together. All right, let's get into it. With no knowledge of how to use or where to put your capo, I should say, it can be very confusing to understand, okay, well, if I'm playing in one key and somebody like a singer wants it in a different key, where do I put the capo so I don't have to learn a bunch of other chord shapes or anything like that? And it all comes down to our musical alphabet. Now, there's 12 notes in our musical alphabet. We start on A. There's 7 natural notes: A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And in amongst those, we have 5 what we call sharps or flats. All right, so A sharp, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp. And if you come reverse way back, like starting from G coming back down, you would call them those sharps flats. All right, so it'd be G flat, etc. All right, now the trick with this is, like, even though there's 12 notes, each one of our strings starts on a particular one of those notes. So our low 6th string here is E. So we can start that musical alphabet on that E and go up E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, and so on and so forth. But the beauty of it is we just go up 1 fret at a time. So it starts on E, which is our open string. Put a finger on the 1st fret, that's our F. And then we go F sharp, G, G sharp, A, all the way up as far as we can go. We can do this the same on the open 5th string, which is A. So we start on A, move up 1 fret, that's our B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, etc., etc. Now we can also start this musical alphabet on any particular note. It doesn't have to be an open note, it can be a fretted note. So when we're playing chords, quite often the lowest note that we fret, not all the times, but like let's use G for example, all right, where our 2nd finger is on that 6th string at the 3rd fret, that is G. All right, so you'll see on your musical alphabet, we started that open string on E, F, F sharp, G. All right, and that G there is what we call the root note of the chord that you play on top of that, or that shape. In this case, it's a major shape. Okay, if we're doing an E minor shape, for example, we have our open 6th string there, the E, and we play the minor shape on top of that. All right, but the lowest note of the chord that we play is what we call the root note. Now, this is the most important when it comes to transposing guitar chords with a capo, right? Because all we need to know is on string 6, 5, and 4 is all these notes along the fretboard. All right, now you don't have to do it in one sitting. You can do it on a song-by-song basis if you want. And all we need to know is where our root note is on any particular chord. So let's look at the G, for example. There's my G, but I'm 3 frets away from an open string, right? This is really important as well. So we got the G there, playing our G shape, all right? But let's assume that we know a song in G. It might have their chords G, C, D, for example. But a singer comes in and wants to jam with us and wants to put it into the key of A. All right, so we can go out and learn A, D, and E chords, but like that can be sometimes, oh, I got to learn how to play in a different position, and we've really worked this song up. So all we need to do to play it with a capo is, if we know our root notes, all right, the root note is the key, and then we just play the corresponding major or minor shape on top of that chord, all right, on top of that note, sorry. And so our A is here, but if we play the same major shape, the G here for an A, doesn't sound bad, but it's not exactly how we're gonna want it to sound. All right, so here's what we gotta know for this one. Our original starting note was 3 frets away from an open string, all right? So if we move this up 2 frets, we gotta go back 3 frets, and that is where we move everything up and put the capo on the 2nd fret, right? So when we put the capo on the 2nd fret there, we've got our A, that doesn't change. And then we've got an A chord when we play the G shape on top of that. We've just moved it up 2 frets, but we've brought everything up. We can't have an open string or any of these open strings ringing out, so we've got to put it on where, compared to where the open string is. All right, so let's go back to our original. All right, back to our G shape. And this, let's say we somebody wants it in the key of B flat. Why B flat? Not always the most common key, but females tend to sing a tone and a half, what we call a tone and a half higher than many songs that we learn, especially as males. All right, so to play along with them, we just use the same concept. So if we know the song in the key of G and they want it in the key of B flat, all we got to do is know where our root chord, which is G in this case, but we're going to transpose that to a B flat. So we just come up to where we find B flat, and you can go back and look at your musical alphabet to find that, and you'll find that on the low 6th string, it's at the 6th fret. All right, so that's where you want to play your G chord shape to get the song going, and then you just follow the same chord progression that you learned before. But it's going to be a bit odd because we've got a lot of open strings, so we've got to bring the whole thing up. We can't just bring the fret notes up, we've got to bring all the open strings up with us. All right, so the same rule applies. Our G shape is 3 frets away from the open root note, so we're going to bring this up to B flat and then go back 3. So in this case, from 6, simple maths, 6, 5, 4, 3. 3 frets back from 6, puts us on the 3rd fret, and we just put the capo on the 3rd fret there, play the same G shape, and there's our B flat chord, and we're ready to go. And we just play the song how we know it. It's just got to sound in a different key. We don't have to go out learning a whole bunch of new shapes or anything like that. We just keep what we know, but just move everything along, compensating for the open strings. All right, let's say we do the same thing in this case now with a D chord, an open D chord. All right, so we've got our lowest note, in this case, is our open D string, and we've got the shape that we play a D chord on top of that. Say you learn something like, I don't know, let's say Bad Moon Rising, which is D, A, G, right? Even though it's a high song, for females, that still could be too low. But let's say we want to move that into an E, the key of E. All right, so we've got our D chord there. Now we can go out and learn E and the corresponding chords, but that can be a bit tough on the brain. When all we need to do is just find where we need to put the capo so we can play in the different key using the same shapes that we already know. Okay, so we got the open D, and if we look at our musical alphabet, if we start that on the D, we go D, D sharp, E. All right, so that's where we need to play. So that's going to be on the 2nd fret there. That's going to be where you put the capo, because we've just moved the open string up to D. So we put it on the 2nd fret there. And then we just play the normal D shape that we know and learned in that song in that position. So we're still 2 frets away from the open chord, open strings there. There's our D. And then we come over here. Alright, we don't have to relearn the song in all different chord shapes, but what we have to know is these notes where they correspond to the root note of the chord you're playing. And again, the root note is the lowest note of the chord that you play. If you found this video useful and you would like to explore more easy songs, but also using your capo from time to time so you can get the understanding of this musical alphabet, where you got to put it, I do have a free gift for you, and that's my Ultimate 4-Chord Songbook. And in this book, I'm keeping it really, really simple to get you going, playing songs really, really quickly. And we just look at 4 chord shapes. Sometimes we use a capo, sometimes we don't, but you can start to learn all this as you go. Now, it's 1 song a month over a period of 10 months. So it's not a book, it's a video course that gets sent to you. And all you need to do to get this is just follow this link here. Just enter your details, and then you get access to your first song. And then in 30 days time, you get your next song delivered to you. All right, and I'll run through basic chord shapes, put in my CPR formula, which I've talked about in other videos, and you get a 1-page chord chart. And like I said, we use the chord, the capo, to transpose the chords up and down the fretboard there. Okay, and this, what that does is just allows you to open up the many other different songs that you can play. Because stuck here with no capo, you can learn a lot of different chord shapes, but it doesn't give you access to a lot. Because like if we want a song in the key of B flat, for example, there's no open chord that gives you a B flat. So playing it in the G shape with your capo on the 3rd is the easiest way to get that going for you. All right, and if you want more information on how to use a capo, have a look at this video here, how to use capo for campfire guitar songs. All right, I'll see you on the next one.